Well, we always have something special for you. Today is the launch of Sweet Pea Collection, and Teresa has been having so much fun with this, and we invite you to come play with us and join into the fun. Well, as I said, we're starting with the Sweet Pea Collection, so that's going to be the 12 by 12 patterned cardstock. You heard it right, cardstock. It also includes the, well, we call this solid cardstock, but there are two dotted patterns in it, so just, you know, kind of bear with us there. We also have the 6 by 6 Sweet Pea and the Sweet Pea chipboard, the Sweet Pea cutting die, and the Sweet Pea die cuts. Just so many things. Very, very fun to do. So let me bring in the cards. And I have to tell you, I think Teresa has just outdone herself. So let's scoot those over. Hopefully get out of camera range, and we'll get into the card, and we'll scoot in just a bit so you can see this. Now, the first couple of projects I'm going to show you are using the 12 by 12 pattern cardstock. Now, this is our typical 5 by 6.5 inch card, 5 by 6.5 inch. We like that larger size because, quite frankly, gives you more room for creativity. So what Teresa has done, and I will show you the things that she's used on everything that she made. So she started with her card, and then she went to this sheet of the 12 by 12 pattern cardstock and created this rectangle. By the way, if you've been watching us, you know, but down below are all the written instructions, all the sizes. You don't have to try to remember as I'm going through here, but Teresa has written them all out for you. Then she did a second piece to make this strip. So she took the stripe, turned it on its side, and she matted it onto the solid cardstock just on one side. Then she also cut a strip of black cardstock and did that piece right there, and then glued it to this piece, then glued everything to the front of the card. She wanted to get this strip, this 1/4 inch wide black strip, before she attached it to the card, just so she could trim it off and make it easy. Now, the other pieces that are here come from the cutouts that are in the pattern cardstock. So you can see this Sending Sweet Thoughts Your Way and the Hello Sunshine are right there. And we have pre-matted these for you. Now, if the color works for you, as they did for Teresa, that's fine. If you want to change the color, just snip that off, and it's just very easy. But we wanted to do an extra step for you. So that turned out. Now, the other thing that Teresa did is she used the cutting die. Now, let me dig that out. So there we go. So you can see there's two big pieces. They're about, well, you can see the measurements right there. They're 2 3/4 by 2 5/8 and 1 1/4, 1 1/2 by 3. Okay, so there you go, this size. And she die cut them out of the green cardstock. Then she die cut these pieces out of pink. That way you can layer it. So it just works very, very easily. And you can see how easily that is. Now, Teresa did go in and she did some inking. And in using this, she used the Grasshopper Spectrum Noir ink, and she also used Plum Jam. And she just used the blender brush and went on the edges of both the pink and the green on the green leaves, just to give a bit more dimension. Can you see how it's darker there? Well, it just adds a nice touch. This is out of our blender brush, the 4 pack collection. It's the one of the smaller ones. I just thought it would work nicely. Now, I do want to show you the inside of this card because it is just lovely and neat, and I've never seen anything like it. So with that introduction, are you ready? Okay, here I go. Look at that. How fun is that? No, I have not. I don't think I've ever seen a card like this, but it's just fun, and it's so super easy. Okay, here's what Teresa did. So she used this cardstock, and you can see it's got the black ribbon down at the bottom, and she cut it to be 12 inches long and 6 inches tall. Okay, so I'm going to scoot this out and bring this model in. So here's what she did. So it's 12 by 6, a half of the sheet. And then starting from the left, she did multiple score lines. So at 3 inches, at 4 inches, at 5 inches, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay? Now obviously at 12 inches, this is too long for the card. But then what she did is she folded on those score lines. Now she told me that you want to begin with a valley fold. So I'm just going to go like this. And if I were smart, I would have had my bone folder here. And I think I have it buried. So, you know, this is one of those, please do as I say, not as I did. Okay, so we're just going to accordion fold this back and forth and back and forth. And if you score, it's going to be as easy as it is for me. Now you do want to end with a valley, okay, a V, mountain, valley, mountain, valley. So you want to end at each end with a valley, okay? Now what Teresa did is she put double-sided tape on this area and on this area, and then going into her card, she attached this piece like so and secured it down, and then this piece is going to be attached here. You do it in 2 separate steps. That way you're going to have this accordion fold into the center, and it's just going to work as you close it up. Right now I've got sweet peas poking into it, so it just works beautifully, and I love the look of it. So what she did is she did the same thing she did on the front. She went into that wonderful cutting die and just added pieces, doing the same layering technique. Let me just show you like that. And then she added, this is one of the die cuts right there, and that finishes the card. I mean, it's just beautiful. Don't you love it? Don't you know somebody who's going to love it also? I bet you do. And take a look at Teresa's second card, and this is obviously a slim line using our slim line card, so it's 3.5 by 8.5. All works nicely. Now you can tell, I think, that she has used the chipboard, and the chipboard looks like this. You saw it a moment ago. She did some interesting things with it. This piece right here, that trellis, she didn't color it, but she did tap it with a Versamark ink pad and went over it with clear embossing powder. So it has a shine to it. Let me just show you, okay? So there's just a shine to it. It darkens it a little bit. It's not as it's a deeper ivory than what the chipboard is, but I've not seen that done before, and I thought that was really fun. Now the coloring that she did, she used the tri-blend markers. Now she has this, this is a set of 24 pieces. This is the dark set. But of course they're sold individually, so you know, unless you want to have all the colors, you can do it separately. And so what the tri-blend, and if you've seen Lene, you know she's absolutely in love with these. And what we like to do is to kind of leave it on the piece, the chipboard piece. I'm going to bring in a craft mat just for a moment, and I'm just going to do a little tiny bit. So with the tri-blend, there's 3 shades of the same color, so you could, I think I'll start with the medium one on the top, and you can just, you know, just color it. You don't have to be careful, and that's why leaving it in the backing sheet is going to work pretty well. So you can just do that. Then you can go darker as it goes like this to get that darker look. And then you can go back and blend it over the center area. So you can see now in this case, this was also hit with the Versamark and with the clear embossing powder. So it adds more shine to it. So very, very fun, very easy to do. In fact, I don't think there's anything hard that you can do with the chipboard other than just really like it. So then you can go over and blend those colors as you see fit. So it just kind of blends those so you've got more of a gradation. Okay, so that's what Teresa has done. I'll get these out of the way and show you some more. Let's get into the papers that she used, because that's always fun. And again, she's using the 12 by 12. this is the sheet that she used. Now this has ones all over, and it has that trellis in the background, which is kind of a nice mirroring of that trellis. And you can see that she started right up here. She wanted to get, let me show you there. She wanted to get those ribbons showing, and they do a nice job on the slim line. And she simply just covered her card, so that worked well. Then to add some, some interest down at the bottom, she has taken this piece of the pattern cardstock, and then she did a little piece of the black dot, little strip there. Now she also matted that on the pink cardstock, so you saw that earlier, and she added the dazzles. Now these are the black border dazzles. You can see that they've got silver foiling on the edges. Put a piece here and put a piece there and there. So you can see there's just 3 little strips, glued it down onto her card, then added all of those pieces to finish up her card. Now, she also used the pink ribbon set. This is the light pink set. In fact, she used it on several cards, so that, that works nicely. And then she added something else, which are these. This is from our friends at 49 & Market. These are the blush wishing bubbles and baubles. Got that? And what I love is they are epoxy, they are self-adhesive. Some of them have been raised up on foam tape, some of them just have adhesive right on them. And this one, or this set of 5, has glitter in it. So it just looks really, really nice. And she tied a bow right there, knotted it in place, added another one of the bubbles and baubles, and completed. You can see that she went into the purples for that chipboard butterfly. Now for the inside of her card, she has used some of those same papers that we've talked about, more of the black border dazzles. Then this is one of the cutouts of the piece, and there's that big kind of chunky oval that's going on, and more of the chipboard right there. So really using that chipboard effectively in several places on this. The nice thing about chipboard too is that it's lightweight. It's not, you don't have to add extra postage. If you are, if you want to take an extra precaution, you could put just a sheet of paper over it before you tuck it into the envelope. If you've got any of the bubble wrap, you can put that on top. It works perfectly. Okay, you ready for more? I told you, Teresa's really been busy. Now this is made with our 4-fold folder. Say that 3 times fast. This is a cutting die, and Dr. Teresa has cut it out for me so I can show you this. Let's see, I think I'll show you the whole thing first, way you can kind of see where we're going. So she has slipped this under a foam taped die cut. And then as I open it, you can see this is just going to keep showing extra things every single time. How fun is that? Okay, let me show you how that happens. Now, with the cutting die, you're going to get actually 4 pieces. Okay, so I hope you can see those on the black. I think you can. Okay, so you're going to get the large piece, then this is an extension of that folder. By the way, the folder can be horizontal or it can be vertical. Obviously, Teresa did it vertically. So what you do is put extra sticky tape or 2-sided tape right here. Now this is right next to a double score line. There's 2 score lines there that the cutting die does. So what you'll do is remove that top of that tape and then position the other piece on top of it. Now the only trick is you just want to make sure that you don't go over that score line, okay? You just want to go right on top of it. And then what will happen is that this can fold, this can fold, this can fold, and that can fold. And see, we let that be on the back of the card. That way it works nicely. Now, what can you do on the inside of it? Well, you get 2 pockets. Of course, you can cut as many as you want. Teresa did the same thing. She put the double-sided, the two-way score tape on the back and next to the fold. She always puts it next to the fold, so that's good to know. And then this can go can go, if you're having it vertically like Teresa did, you can put it right there because the rounded corner is going to be on the inside. Then there's another one that she did that's going to go like this. And it just goes right next to the card. And it just works very nicely. Now you can put them any way you like. You can put them both vertically, you can put them horizontally, you can put them however you like. Okay, let's go back and see what Teresa's done. So she's done the whole piece out of the black dot cardstock that comes in the solid cardstock collection. You know the difference about that. And then she has, let's see, let me go back to the front. She has placed die cuts, cutouts. She used another piece, another cutting die, and this is our borders. This is for slimline. However, as you know, you can use them for anything. So this is one of the borders, and it has diamonds in the center. Well, she put pink jewel dazzles in those diamonds. Let me just open this up. She put more jeweled dazzles on the sides of it. And then, as I said, this is foam taped up. So when we open this, oh, one thing else, that this is going to tuck right in, and that holds it closed. So that's a really nice way to do it. You could do it, you could make a belly band, or you could, you know, do a ribbon or whatever you wanted. But I think this is a great solution. Now, Sweet Friendship refreshes the soul. That is part of the cutouts. This is part of a die cut. Here's another of the borders. So just as you see, she has played with this. Using the die cuts, she decided to add a gift card. So that's going to work if you want to. Or you can add just tags. It's the little things that make a big difference. How fun is that? So each piece has a little extra on it. And we just wrap it up like this. Tuck it in, and you are done. Easy to do. Oh, you did notice that, oh, by the way, this is what the two-sided tape looks like. It's just like this. It has a roll. It's got that white liner on it, okay? And again, she used the light pink ribbons. So easy to do, fun to see, but there's more. And there's more. Look, okay. This is a card I've not seen before either, this style of card. How pretty is this? Now, this is our regular 5 by 6.5 inch card. Obviously, the fold is at the top. Now, in these last two projects, Teresa used the 6 by 6 pattern cardstock. And what I love, well, I love that it's different and it's fun, but what happens is when you open this, so you see those are peeking up, but when you open it, you get a surprise. That just folds in like that. So very fun. Okay, you want to know how to do it? Well, Teresa will help us. So what you do is you're going to take your regular card and open it up. Now, I have copied this, and it's in the download. So if you go to the gallery, click on this card, then look at the supply list. At the end of the supply list, you're going to see 2 downloads. One of them will be what this looks like. I just thought that that might be helpful. So what Teresa did is that the fold is right here, and she measured 3 1/4 inches from the left side, made a dot, okay? Then from the fold line, she went up 2 3/4 inches, made a dot, and then from that fold line, she went down 2 3/4 inches and made a dot. And then she did a score line on those 2 diagonals, okay? And I found my bone folder, so you just do want to, when you score those and fold them, you're going to want to use your bone folder, okay? So, and nicely it's going to match what's going on here. So what we're going to do is that this is going to stay a mountain fold, just the way the card is. But these 2 diagonals are also going to be mountain folds. So I'm going to pinch that, and then I'm going to pinch the other one. And what's going to happen is this one is going to go down. And if it doesn't go down, you just push that little puppy down, just like this. Now you do want to make sure that it stays down, and that's where our trusty bone folder is going to come in. You know, I used to think that bone folders really weren't very important, but I have since learned differently. Okay, so I'm scoring all of these. And I'm even going to go in and score that one inside. Okay, so you end up with something like this. Now, this is an odd shape. Okay, we know that. But what our Teresa has done is she's given us paper patterns. So you don't have to try to measure. This is the front paper pattern. So all you have to do is to take the paper, and it happens to be this one, and you can cut it and have it fit onto the 6x6 paper, and then it will just go perfectly on the front of your card, just like Teresa did there. She did another one for the inside too, and I'll show you that in a minute. So that's going to go on. Then she used our 4-inch paper doilies. So she took one and cut it in half, and she applied it with sticky specs. And I thought that was interesting because I don't know that I've ever seen anybody use the sticky specs on doilies. And I thought that was quite brilliant. So what you would do, if you're not familiar with these marvelous things, you're going to lift up the liner. There's 4 sheets inside the package. You're going to lift up the liner, put your half piece of doily on it, and then just lightly press. You don't have to go hard. Just lightly press it. It will lift the micro dots that are there. And by the way, you know you can reuse these sheets. It just, they go for quite a while, as a matter of fact. So then she placed a half doily here and a half doily there. She didn't like the line that she had, or she wanted to cover it up. So she went into the die cuts and pulled this piece, cut it in half. No, she didn't cut it in half. She just let it span that card. So you see it's poking out on each side. And that covered up the edges of her butterflies, of her doilies. Okay. Then she went into the cutting die again, but this time she added something. So she added our gathering basket and clay pots, which I think is really fun. So the clay pots, she die cut out of the cardstock. She did a little bit of the inking. Now, last time she used the blender brush, but this time she used the daubers. And the daubers look like this. They come in a package of 6. And simply went into, and this time she used Friar Brown and honey pot to color those pots, and just again went right around the edges. So you've got lots of options for coloring and for shading and blending easily, which is important. So we have these two, and again with the sweet pea you can die cut out of green, as she did, and then you can die cut the petals out of different colors. So she used the yellow and the pink out of the cardstock. So that worked nicely. Now that butterfly, that hummingbird has been die cut out of the sticky sparkles. So that worked nicely. And you can see it in the instructions. So that worked. And these two are also out of the die cuts. Now, let me see. They are out, well, the smile, is out of this piece, out of this sheet, and then the sweet pea is out of this one. So it's just, you know, it just really has a nice little greeting for someone. It says, you know, you open this up and you go, sweet pea, smile, that's cute. Now, this is also using some of the 49 in Market bubbles and baubles. And you can see that they're just accents. They just give a little bit of dimension. Really, really nice. Now, on the inside of her card, I'm going to pop this up and open it so you can really see it. So she has used this piece of 6x6. You can see it's going to measure nicely, but because you have that pattern for the inside paper, that's going to work very well. So just trim that off. And then she went into the stripe for this little piece, but she didn't forget to give us a pattern. How nice is that? She thinks of us. And you notice on everything that she's done here, everything sits within the card so that the card becomes a mat. There's a lot of white in the papers, and that just really adds a nice continuity to it. Now, she did another paper doily right here, and a little piece right here. So you can see that before this piece of paper was glued down, she simply put the doily, trimmed it to fit, and then did another application. So she's got 2 layers. So that's pretty. Now, the pieces inside come from the cutout sheets, or it comes from the die cuts, and it's actually a mixture of both, so you can kind of see what's going on. And the sweet friendship, the sending you sweet thoughts your way, it's the little things that make a difference. Those are all out of the cutouts. Everything else is the die cuts. And what a fun card. What a fun thing. You want to remember that. That's a really good thing to remember. Okay, I have one more for you, and it too is using the 6x6. And here it is. Now, this is a gatefold card, but it's a gatefold card with a difference. And let me show you. Sometimes gatefold cards, in fact, most of the time, there's something glued on the left-hand side so that when you open it, that piece is only glued on the left. This time, this has a different closure. It has a different piece holding it. It's going to slip out of this little piece right there. So that's quite different. Okay, I'm going to pull this off, and we'll talk about this in a minute, but let's look at this first, okay? Now, this is typically what you would do for a gatefold card. You would take your card, bring the outside edges into the center. The difference here is that you need a gap because you need to have this closure hold on to something. So you need to have, about a 1/16 of an inch in between. So, that's just something that you need to do for this style. Now, as I said, this is going to be the 6x6 papers. This is the sheet that she's used. And you can see that because she wanted it to be a little smaller, again, she's letting the card be the mat, she cut off a little piece so that this could go on the front of her card. Okay, right there. And then she slid over and wanted to have this on the front of her card, take advantage of that butterfly. And that's what it looks like. Very pretty, don't you think? And she did put dazzles, of course she did, and these are the fancy border dazzles. There we are. Looks like this. You can kind of see it in the black, but of course gold is right there. Well, this has, I believe it's 10 sheets in it, 8 or 10 sheets, and it's this sheet of dazzles in black, white, gold, and silver, and then also this one in the same black, white, gold, and silver. And what she's done is she's taken the gold and just placed it along the top and then trimmed it to match the card itself. So there's a bit of shine there, very easily done. Okay, I'll set that aside. Then we're going to, right there's another of the cutouts that are in the package for my best friend, right there. And she did add a butterfly, but I'll get to that in a minute. On the inside of her card, she also added another sheet, and it is this one. Again, it's the same sheet that's in the 12 by 12. It's just shrunk down. And so you can see that she wanted that little piece at the corner to be showing, so it goes there. And she went back into the cardstock, and she just matted that piece on the lighter pink that's in the cardstock. Then she went into the cutting die and did it again, did it out of the green and then again out of the kind of purpley color that's in the cardstock. There are more of the fancy border dazzles on the edges here. Then she also added these. These are the inside-outside dazzles, and what you get is, if you want to use them as something on the front and then something on the inside, Teresa didn't this time. She's put the more candles. Usually the bigger the wish would be on the inside, but she just added as one piece. You do get the extra little embellishments, but she wasn't satisfied with just that. She also added more of the 117 beautiful butterflies. So you can see butterfly there. There was one on the front. Okay, so that's our card. Oh, I didn't mention, more of the cutting dies, same idea. This time she inked them with pale fig and pine tree. Again, just wanting to get some dimension into them. There are score lines on those flowers, so they are going to be raised, but that ink just adds a bit more dimension. Now let's go to the closure. So the closure, as I said, let me give you a good look at it. It looks like this. It starts out with, you want to cut 4 3 1/4 by 3-inch pieces, okay, 4 of them. Then you're going to take 2 of them and fold them in half, like this. When you fold it in half, you want to make sure it's still 3 inches tall. Then it's going to be 1 5/8. So you fold it, and then you're going to attach it to the back of one, and then where it's opening this way. And then you're going to take the other piece and put it there. And then you're going to take this piece and put it there. And what you will have is a piece like this. Kind of looks like a butterfly to me. Let me open this up. There we go. So it looks like this. And what happens is with this little piece, it will slide onto each side. Super easy. No mess, no fuss. You can slide it wherever you want it to go, and it looks just like that. Now, she did add some of the pattern cardstock. She added one of the cutouts, butterflies, and more of the die-cut sweet peas on top. But just a really sweet little piece. So that's nice. I told you, the woman has had a wonderful time playing with sweet pea. We are delighted to have these, and wanted to just wrap up and show you again. We have the 12 by 12 pattern cardstock, the 12 by 12 mostly solid with a couple of additional dots and things, the die cuts that are so useful, the 6 by 6 with all 24 sheets, the chipboard, and the sweet pea cutting dies. We are very appreciative to the folks at Knitwit. Mary Fran is a marvelous talent. We're delighted to showcase her here. And didn't Teresa do a wonderful job? As always, she did. So as always, we have a money saver on the right-hand side of your screen. Now it's going to have everything in it, but we just wanted to give you a bit of savings on that. If you are watching this on YouTube, please come on over to paperwishes.com, sign up for our emails, get into all the action, all the new goodies. And I want to thank you for joining us, for being here. Teresa, you did a fabulous job. And thank you for being the very best part of Paper Wishes.